Oh, Keegan, he dropped in on the Mega-ramp quarter pipe when he was like 11 or 12.
Oh, dude,
he was this big.
It's just giving me anxiety.
He was this big.
What are you doing? What do you say when he goes? You go like, yeah, you got this?
I wasn't there.
Oh,
he showed me the video. No, he was at skate camp. He was at Woodward.
Oh, Woodward.
He was at Woodward, and they're like, "Woo, Keegan's got it!" You know, because they're all like rolling down the roll-in and trying to kick turn and stuff. And then he went up to the top, and everyone's just like, "Oh, yeah, Keegan!"
Because his last name's Hawk too.
Free fall. Woo!
He made it.
He made it. Welcome to Hawk versus Wolf 1.
If you're listening and you have a Twitter account, we're Hawk versus 1.
Hawk versus Wolf 1.
What did I say?
Hawk versus 1.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Same.
Well,
I mean, same vibe.
I'm really, I'm like exercising a lot right now. I'm like trying to get ready for a fight, and I'm like, I skateboard whenever I get a chance. I skateboard.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, trying to work out in between to get my cardio up, like fight cardio. And those heart pills, I think it's just I'm almost 50, but it is hard.
You feel them?
Dude, I wrestled my friend. I did 3 rounds with my friend yesterday, and then we burnt out the rest of it hitting pads. So I worked out as hard as I possibly can, but I just feel like when I breathe in, I'm like, oh my God. And then today I'm like, I'm going to skate. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to have to do some jumping jacks to get my body to move. It's like.
They told me the only side effects would be muscle cramping or like.
For what?
I take like a heart.
A beta blocker?
Is that what it is?
Wait, you are on one too?
I'm on Crestor.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the one.
High five, bro.
I never thought I'd high five you and be depressed from it.
Woo!
That's such a lame
Girl.
Yeah. Heart conditions. Woo. Yeah. Father time.
No, mine's hereditary.
So's mine.
Yeah.
Not high fiving anymore.
All right.
Yeah. No, my doctor said everything you have, which was actually really cool when he was like, yeah, all your things is hereditary. And I was like, so all my drug taking, all those ridiculous days, I heard alcohol actually like fries your brain. I was like, I did a lot.
Probably didn't help though.
Yeah, but just to know that you're going to die, but it's not your fault is such a fuck you to all those, you know what I mean? People are like, man, you're going to kill yourself. And I was like, well, guess what? I'm just going to die because my dad's got a problem with his heart, not because I partied.
You know what's crazy about that is my dad had a lot of health problems. He had 2 heart attacks before I was born.
Oh, wait, like a young heart attack?
Yeah, because he had a lot of cholesterol, high blood pressure, but also he didn't watch his diet at all.
He never, after he got the warnings, he still ate bad?
Yeah. And would never, like, was just, and at one point we tried to intervene, and he said, look, I'd rather die earlier happy eating this stuff than eating stuff that I don't like. And that was hard to argue with, but at the same time, we're like, we want you around. And then he ended up getting lung cancer.
Did he smoke?
No. And he got lung cancer, and it was there was this sort of.
Is this some war shit? Like, do you think he got?
Yes, it was.
It's totally from being in war, right?
It's from a battleship that he was on.
What was in the battleship?
Asbestos.
Oh, get the.
And so his crew
all got it.
Years later, all figured out that a lot of them got it through their, when they got into to be adults, like elders. And I think there was some sort of class action suit that was going to happen, but everyone was so old that it was like, it just fizzled. Yeah. I can't believe you picked up on that.
What do you mean?
That it was a war thing.
Well, because I know you. I know you. I mean, I didn't know your dad, but I know where I've got my stepmother's side and my side they were in the war. Like, I'm as old as you. Like, our parents were in wars.
Yeah.
And anybody who went had like either mental problems or they were like in a situation where they were breathing in shit that killed them.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
It's such a weird.
But there was a thing kind of that he never really said it, but we all felt it, where he was like, see, I could eat whatever I want because I'm dying of cancer.
How was he? Was he like, salads are so offensive to me that I'd rather?
That was just not That was not an option. It wasn't that we're
Had he-
offensive. It was just like, that's not happening.
He won't eat it.
Prime rib,
With
potatoes.
with
Let's
vegetables?
go. Hardly.
Because you do that.
What's that?
I think you eat better now because.
Well, I do. Yeah, because
but I remember you always eating like stuff where I was like, "Whoa, you eat that?"
Yeah, I didn't. I had no filter
For a long time.
For a
too.
long time, yeah.
In skateboarding,
But I
ate-
just got lucky that I had the metabolism and I was always skating.
Right.
So I was able to burn it all off.
Right. You
And as I
never.
got older and, not skating as much, it started to affect me. And, and I have high cholesterol.
Wait, did you put on weight? You didn't put on weight.
A
You don't
little
put on
bit,
weight.
but it was
Oh,
just
okay.
more that it was, like I have high blood pressure, high
Right.
cholesterol because of my family history. And then I'm not skating as much to keep that all in check. So
Okay.
it was like, I got to make an effort now.
Yeah.
And do that. And, wham, poor me. Like I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
I
Right, it's not that bad
I can't
on
go to
this-
McDonald's 3 times a day.
On the scale of like everybody else, it's not that bad.
No,
I got that from
no,
fighting.
but-
I feel like when I trained to fight and then went back into skateboarding and realized, I'm like, wait, we're all supposedly athletes over here. And I got to
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
none of you are doing what these guys over here are doing. And I don't think they make as much money as you yet. Like MMA guys are usually scraping, but to get the body to perform like that, I'm like, okay, get the body to perform. Skateboarding, if you were extremely fit and like every part of you was muscle, how does that make it harder to skateboard? Unless you got too big, but if you were just shredded and athletically ready, that's the best you can be.
Yeah.
And those guys know all about it. And you've been at the time still better than everybody. And it's like going to McDonald's, Philly cheesesteaks. And I'm like, Philly cheese? I'm like, this guy.
I had a Philly cheesesteak the other day
He would always have that.
on my way home from LA.
And I'm over here with the juicer. I'm at a demo doing it. I got a juicer. I got him to get me a juicer for the demo because I was on this whole tip of.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I was.
It was in your
drinking
rider.
Ginger. It was in my rider. Ginger, because I couldn't drink coffee, so I was doing tons of ginger juice so that I could do the demo. And I was easily the worst person in the demo, easily and fat. I don't understand how any of this is working. This guy's like, we're all going to get Philly cheesesteak. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. How's that even possible? Then he's
Let's
on the
just
ramp
say that
all
I try
day.
to balance it out a little bit now, but yeah.
Good. I'm glad that you
I was
have
in
to.
LA. I was in LA last week on a shoot, and I got out a little bit early, so I was like, "Oh, sweet! I guess I have enough time to get some food before I drive home." And I'm looking up like places nearby, and then I see like best cheesesteaks in town is a mile from here.
Do they ever have a
Sign me
cheesesteak
up.
place where they don't claim that they're the best? It seems to be a pretty cheesesteaky thing to
I
do.
feel like they just do it regionally, so it's just like we're the best in this county,
And
or
did, you,
we're the best in this tiny city.
and did you hear Boston claims that they invented it?
Yeah, well, there's that whole thing about Geno's and the other one across the street.
Because it's a steak and cheese in Boston, right? And if you call it a cheese steak.
Oh, Boston. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the actual places in Philly.
Oh,
Boston.
I heard
Yeah.
an argument recently with two comedians.
I don't want. I'm
about
not,
cheesesteaks
I'm
and where
not
they
getting
get-
into that.
Sorry.
I'm a West Coast kid. There's no way I can weigh in on that.
Yeah, same as my breakfast burrito. I don't care who made it first. I just know
Yeah.
in Carlsbad you get one with,
Yeah.
with that's the one that I like, and in LA
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah, but there's two. So there's like the two in Philly that are across the street from each other that have been there forever. They're
Okay.
landmarks,
Yeah.
and you're defined by which one of those you prefer.
Oh, is it that much different?
I don't think so. I've tried
Right.
them both.
They're
And for
probably
the
both
record,
pretty
For
good,
the
right?
record, I like Geno's.
Ooh. I don't know if that, but
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I don't know if I like you anymore, man.
Scandal.
Wait, Ellis versus. I just wrote. I like the other one,
You don't remember the name.
but I really like those
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
Let's fight.
Hawk versus Wolf. Let's go. All right, let's debate it. We should take phone calls.
We could get a. You know what? We could do that. I got a phone sponsor the other day for my podcast.
Yeah.
So I just hooked up one of my old phones, and I'm just like, "Here's the number. Call me." So people just call my phone, and I'm just like, "Yep, I can FaceTime you. Text me with a legitimate question. If it's a shit question, I won't call you
Is
back."
it working?
Yeah, it's actually because
They used to do that at the barracks.
they did.
Yeah,
Wait,
had
they
a-
took calls.
No, they just had a phone, and it was just like text us, and people
And
would just
say what?
endlessly text whatever. Or they just, hey man, I want to
Do a
see
kickflip
I
bar?
want to see Paul Rodriguez do it, da-da-da. Or you know,
Oh,
you
okay.
guys suck, or whatever.
Hey, just so you know, you guys suck. This guy wants you to know. Yeah, I feel like we used to have a call screener, and he had a job. He got paid to do it, and it was never really done very well. It was just like some dude. I'm like, you got to read the guy on the phone. Like if it's bullshit, you got to be able to catch it quick, get him out of there, and get the next person. But the texting thing is just, you guys are fucking awesome, and I'm like, okay, I'm not calling you for the show, but if it's like, I got a serious question I need to know,
We should do that.
I can get next episode.
All right,
it's done.
Yeah, because we're not live taking calls, but.
No, but we could definitely say on the live phone, hey, call us right now, and you'll be on the next podcast of Hawk versus Wolf.
All right, let's go.
Right? I don't know about the technology of a FaceTime one. I don't think we have that technology yet.
Can't be that hard.
I'm sure we could get Cass to do it.
Yeah. All right. That's when we get our budget.
Yeah, and a rider. I don't really care about that. I was talking to my friend that we used to be in a band together because we're talking about doing Ellis Mania. And obviously after I got let go from Sirius, he found it in his heart to talk to me because he was like, you got fired. Yes. Now you know what it's like. And I was like, yay, that's cool. But I'm way past trying to, I've been that guy where I'm like, you fuck with me, I'll fuck with you. And I'm like, that never worked out for me. So you need to like cut ties of that. So now it's more like, hey man, I heard you got fired and fuck you. I had to say it. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Like I got it coming, man. I'm not the hugest fan of myself most of the time either. Sure enough. Fair enough. And he's like, but I'd love to hang out. And I think it's bullshit the way they did that. And I'm like, yeah, man, we should hang out. So now we're friends again. And he's talking about bringing the band back together. And the questions that I was like, give us a text. People text with, what's your favorite song? Why did you do this song? Why'd you do that song? And I was like, these are really good questions. This phone that we have is working out.
Right.
It's not, where you'd, on the old show, I'd be like, give us a call. And then I'd have some 19-year-old on the call screener who'd put me through with a guy. I'd be like, yeah, I just think you guys are rad. And I'm like, yeah, but we're talking about bands, so now it actually works out easier, I find. Accidentally.
I'm down to try. So what was in your rider? So for anyone listening, a rider is like basically if you're doing an event, your rider is your list of demands.
That's what it was. The band brought up that our rider was Tully wanted the most expensive bottle of Johnny Walker every time. So I think it was like a blue label or a green label. And then
every time you did a show?
Yeah,
or you mean every time you did a show?
Every time the band played, we got one of those.
Oh, okay.
Because we had a band.
Okay, yes.
Accidentally, we had a record deal. It was all a joke, except for the part that we were actually in a real band with a record deal, doing gigs, getting paid for them. And they said, do you want a rider? And I was like, a rider?
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? Like, I'm an idiot. Like, don't get some bubble gum, maybe like a plate that says fuck off because I should. And instead, they're like whiskey and a chocolate cake. And I was like, a chocolate cake? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I would legitimately have a slice of chocolate cake before I played every time. But hearing his requests and knowing that we're getting the band back together, when they said rider, I said chocolate cake.
That's so great.
Now when you say rider, I'll go, look, I appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
But this is some water would be great.
Yeah.
Like just to know only a few, like 10 years ago, give me everything.
When I first started doing bigger appearances and getting bigger appearance fees, and I had like a legitimate agent in New York, and they're like, oh, what's in your rider? Tell us what kind of food you like. And I didn't really understand that's what was just going to go out as a contract. Oh my God. It was like, I like this kind of iced tea. I like the happy cow cheese, and I like this kind of salami and these kind of crackers and no sourdough. It just, whatever. I just gave them my whole list of food items. They put every single thing in the rider. For the most part, it was just me showing up to these appearances in a green room with a shitload of food. All the things I requested.
But enough to feed like a
enough
team.
to make 20 sandwiches. For
one guy.
Deli meats, bread, pickles, the happy cow cheese. Like
happy cow.
At one point I was trying, do you remember tea Java? It was like an iced tea, but it was really specialized. I was like, that's the best bottled iced tea at the time. And people would go to great lengths to try to find tea Java in their city. And then sometimes they would have something else and think, I'm really sorry, we couldn't. I was like, dude, I didn't even realize these contracts were happening. Right. I remember kind of getting a hard time from one of the organizers one time, like, oh, so can't give you sourdough, huh? You know? And I was just like, okay, I don't want the rider anymore. I'm not.
Oh, because somebody made a sarcastic thing about your rider.
And I realized that that's preceding me getting there. And so it kind of just looks like I'm a diva.
It's weird that management, it's sort of their job a little bit, is to set you up and pamper you. At the time,
that was what they did, right? So like my
you don't think they do that anymore?
My agent was the same agent for Regis and a bunch of other high profile people.
Okay.
And so that's just how he did it. And at some point I was like, look, I just want I'll take a sandwich and some Cokes and I'm good.
We're talking about Keeps right now. Do you have hair? Do you want more hair? Are you worried about losing your hair like me? I was a very attractive man. A lot of girls were like, wow, I really like your hair. And then people would try and date me just from my hair being in the room. Now I have to work on my charisma. That's how I charm the ladies
work
now.
on it.
Because I'm hideous. And if I had known about Keeps.
If you only had a personality back then.
Right? I had to get one because my hair came off.
That's what it was. I see.
Just like when hot chicks get a little less hot, it happens. But listen, you don't have to do this. You could go to Keeps. Keeps is this is a thing where you can see the virtual doctor and consult him, and it's only $10 a month. And then you're on this treatment that can take to 4 to 6 months. And I've seen results on their website. People had no hair and then they had hair. I thought it's kind of a thing where it's more of, if you think you're losing your hair, you take Keeps and then you keep your hair, probably hence the name. But I saw videos and there's their website where there's guys.
More of a return.
Yeah. It's like, look at me. This is me before. And I'm like,
it's returned and now I'm keeping it.
Yeah. So it's really worth checking out. And of course you'd be, the Hawk versus Wolf would very, very much appreciate it coming from, you use the link and they're like, whoa, people are checking out the show.
It worked.
Apparently. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/wolf to receive your first month of treatment for free. They don't care about Tony Hawk. They only care about the wolf. That's keeps.com/wolf. All about Jason Ellis today.
If I shave my head or lose my hair, will they make it Hawk Wolf?
They'll probably cut me completely from the show. You would go viral if you did that right now, just so you know.
All right.
That might help us. Next week, can you just be bald? That would be huge.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe not. Anyway, if instead of that, go to keeps.com/wolf. Okay, everybody, look, we're all adults here, and some of us choose to use nicotine to relax, focus, or just unwind. After a long day, Lucy Nicotine is the company that is created to help nicotine users find a cleaner option to feel better about their ways they consume nicotine. Their latest product, Slim Nicotine Pouches, which contain pure synthetic nicotine and provide the same satisfaction that nicotine users expect without any tobacco at all. It's a miracle. I don't know how they do that. They got slim little pouches, newest technology. I got to check these out. I actually do little pouch things of nicotine.
Little pouch things?
It's what they seem like. It's not the one where you have to spit it out, because that would be, that's like messy and you have to walk around with that bottle. And I'm not really ever going to do that because it looks like you got poopy in a bottle. So I'm not really doing that. But you got these little ones, you don't have to spit it out and it just works. And they kind of, I don't know, it takes the edge off. I don't know what the edge is, but it takes it off. Anyway, it's 2021. Don't compromise when you're choosing your nicotine pouches. Man, I should probably get some of these because they're just telling me that what I'm using is bad. Go with the newest tobacco-free option from Lucy. Hawk versus Wolf listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code WOLF to get 20% off your order. Is anybody listening to this show? Every time I do Wolf, Tony's like, where's Hawk? You guys need to figure that out.
Is anyone listening?
I mean,
people are listening to the show. Yeah, maybe not our advertisers.
That's who I'm talking to.
But people are listening.
That's who I'm talking to, the advertisers.
It's all right.
You got to count him in, man.
See how it is.
See? Now he sees how it is.
No, it's okay. I'm just thankful. I'm thankful we have sponsors. I think we have sponsors. I'm thankful people are listening. Whatever. It could just be, you know what? Your code could just be Jason Ellis.
I get whipped after the show for this.
No, that's totally cool.
20% off your order, Lucy Slim pouches and other Lucy products. Lucy.co. Use promo code WOLF at checkout, everybody. They've got it all. It's a good time. You'll thoroughly enjoy it. And they've got, once again, new flavors. Different mango flavor.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Fruity flavors that jump out and will easily last an hour. This tropical fruit flavor is really popular with adult smokers who have a sweet tooth. That's me. Wow. And then they got our cool cider flavor, incredibly unique and honestly a bit hard to describe. There's a bit minty refresh in there, but over time it releases a light fruity flavor. Get out of here. With you might recognize. And our most
you might recognize
what he says
the
is
fruity,
like a warm apple cider.
Oh, okay.
A cup of warm apple cider vibe in there.
That's good.
How do they do that? Anyway, and try. They think you'll love it. Lucy, 2021, Hawk versus Wolf. Boom.
Do you think that it came from creating a mystique about the person? Because to me, it's a very Howard Stern-y kind of thing. Like when you go to his studio, he like has a secret way that he comes in and leaves.
Right.
Like when he leaves, all the doors have to be shut before he leaves.
Right.
And it's like this big thing. And I feel like when you get there, you feel like you're in the presence of something great because of how special he's being treated. And I'm like, I wonder if Regis and all these people and the management that's behind them is like, here he comes.
Well, they definitely run interference for you. But I know, I think Howard is just, he gets requests from every angle, from every single person in his life. So he has to block everything out. Like I understand, probably I don't understand it from experience.
If anybody would be close to it,
like how crazy it must be. Yeah, I mean, my last 2 weeks, I can't, you just saw what happened.
Yeah.
I missed a conference call just now that was about this whole video game thing we're going to do because I just can't keep track of everything. It's been wild. I can't complain about it, but there's a time management thing that happens. And so you have to have filters in place and you have to have people that are on your side that are going to run interference and say, sorry, man, there is no time. Like I'm sure whatever you're doing is awesome. I can't devote like this thing that we just said. I go, you guys, I really can't devote time to it because that's my only currency now.
Right.
And it's a challenge. And I may sound ridiculous. I'm complaining about, but it gets super challenging. And I'm trying to be there for my kids, for my family.
People don't realize that too. All the work you do. Then there's like, hey, everybody, like I have a family, and guess what? People don't. It's not 9 to 5 for you. People ask for shit at any time.
No.
Like to me, Sunday,
Dude.
I got in trouble with my wife because Sunday was so traumatic, and I got stressed about it all. And she's like, "This is my day of rest."
Yes.
And I was like, "Not in this house, it isn't."
Yeah.
Like sometimes Jason has 2 days where he doesn't do anything now because of the podcast
world.
That's
my staff here. They know that at any given time they might get a request because I'm stuck in Chicago, and my flight's screwed up, and I'm gonna have to, I might have to stay there and whatever. It's super late on a weekend night, and I need you to be there for me because I need help with it. And they're cool about it, but it gets super tricky. There are no days off.
No.
Yeah.
You'd be kind of used to that though, in a way. You go.
Yeah, but I'm trying to keep ever since the the last year with everyone being stuck in one place. I've been able to adhere to some routine because I'm not requested to travel so much.
Wow.
So that's been nice, and also
more family time, right?
More family time, and like my daughter relies on these certain days of the week, like when when she's with me, and when I'm with her, my time is hers.
Right.
And that's still ongoing, but it's getting harder because now things are happening again.
Right.
Travel, opportunities, whatever, interviews, things like that. So, like last week at the thing that I was at in LA, the day before we had this shoot in LA, it was like it's a surprise thing. So I can't talk too much about it, but it was a thing where I gifted someone a thing.
Yep.
I told you about it.
Yep. You gifted someone a thing. Well,
it's one of those things where they set it up and they're like, "Here's the reveal."
Yeah. And
they said, "Oh, we want to. Can you do Jimmy Kimmel right after that?"
On the same day?
No, the day before. Like, could you cut your time at that shoot 15 minutes early, do a pre-interview, and then drive to the studio that's an hour away from where you're going to be, and then do the show? And I was like, dude, like, can't you give me a week, like a heads up?
Yeah.
It was because someone canceled and they thought I'd be a good fill-in guest, and I had to shut it down. And I was like,
you said no.
I had to. It's hard like that, but I mean, at some point you have to take back control of your time, and that sounds crazy, and it, in a lot of ways, for sure. In like if I saw myself 10 years ago, like, you turning down Jimmy Kimmel? You've
already been on there, though, right?
Not in a long time,
but you've been on there.
But yes.
It's not as crazy.
It's not,
because you're like, it's business. You and Jimmy tight?
No, but he was always friendly.
I know, but I'm sure he is. But I'm just saying, it's if
it's not like I'm doing a favor to my best friend,
right?
No, not at all.
Right, it's a business opportunity, and you're like, man, I don't have the time for the business opportunity.
Yeah, it's weird though. It's weird to look at it from that perspective. And like I said, I was trying to get home because, I have these days with my daughter, and I can't just tell her, oh, sorry, honey, I'm going to be on Jimmy Kimmel tomorrow.
No, not when you're you, because it'd be different. I could tell my son I'm on Jimmy Kimmel tomorrow, and I'm not going to get him because I've never been on Jimmy Kimmel, and he'd be like, what's going on, Dad? Like, yeah, go to Jimmy Kimmel. But if I was already Tony Hawk and I'd already been on there, he'd be like, man, haven't you already been on there? Do you really need to notify everybody that you're Tony Hawk again? It's not as critical for you.
It is, but it took me a long time to at least have that agency to do that. Like to actually have the fortitude to be like, I can't do that. I have to cut it off. Because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I'd be like, yep, coming up.
Wait, you'd say yep, or your management would?
I would have said, I mean, it would have been up to me, but I would have definitely been like, yeah, I'll just drop whatever I'm doing. Right. Go up there because that's, that's big time stuff.
Hey everybody, Ellis Main here, just talking about feels. Do you use CBD? Do you know what CBD is? If you're somebody that deals with pain or anxiety or finds it hard to sleep, I am obviously somebody that is in pain constantly, and CBD is just one of those things that is in my routine. I feel like if you're somebody that is a little older and you work out a lot and you do a lot of stuff, I don't know, even if you sleep wrong, it's just a good idea to use. It kind of clears your head a little bit. I also suffer from a bit of anxiety, and I know that if I do the droplets, that can really make a difference. And I've tried all kinds of stuff, some bad ideas, but CBD is a good idea. And these guys have the good stuff. What it feels like is premium CBD delivered to your doorstep. Feels natural, helps reduce stress. That's the other thing. Anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. You place the droplets under your tongue, and what I would like to say is Bob's your uncle. But I guess I should explain it to the Americans that are listening that would, you put it under your tongue, and within a few minutes, half an hour or something, you feel a lot more relaxed. If you're in pain, neck pain, or any of that stuff, it does help. Like I use the CBD cream. I use them all. I stick it all over me everywhere. It feels natural. It makes you feel better. No hangover or addiction, obviously, when it comes to CBD. It's a natural thing, and everyone should be catching on with it these days. It's just a thing that helps you. Your body works better. Your brain works clearer. You'd be crazy not to try it. For our listeners that want to feel better, become a member today by going to feels.com/HawkWolf. Thank you, Feels, for understanding that Tony Hawk is also on this show. Hawk Wolf is the code, and you will get 50% off.
Wow.
No one's flexing that hard. Half, bruh. Half. If you use the code Hawk Wolf, feels.com/HawkWolf to become a member and get 50% off automatically. Taking your first order with free shipping, bruh. Free shipping and half price. Feels.com/HawkWolf.
Hey everybody, Jason Ellis here from Hawk versus Wolf. You might have heard of us. We're pretty mega. Sometimes you're busy. I don't know about you, but I'm busy. I do a lot of stuff. And sometimes I like food, but sometimes I'm busy and I do a lot of other stuff. And I would just rather somebody else made my food and brought it to my door. And yes, we have finally made it, ladies and gentlemen, because Hawk versus Wolf is sponsored by DoorDash. As far as I'm concerned, I am now a DoorDash athlete. And I can get anything I want. Like I can also get, did you know that you can go to not just like restaurants and stuff, but you can get like for me, I need sports tape to tape my hands to my wrists so they don't come off when I'm punching people in the face. So I can get that, and I can get a Gatorade because it's got electrolytes. All of these things are available from DoorDash. So if you want food to your door, you want it right now. Let's say you miss a piece of ingredients from your meal that you were preparing. I am a fabulous cook, always cooking stuff. And sometimes I just need that little extra thing that I forgot. I don't cook at all. I just go to DoorDash. With over 300,000 partners, they support your neighborhood. Go and choose from your favorite restaurants everywhere. It's easy. For a limited time, our listeners get 25% off DoorDash, you guys. That's friggin' mega. So support us and do this. 0 delivery fees on the first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code WOLF. It's like they know it's about me. That's 25% off up to $10 in value, up to $10 value, and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code WOLF. Oh, don't do that. Don't forget to use code WOLF at 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Yay.
I got asked to do a podcast in New York 2 days ago. They were like, yeah, we want you to come up, and it's like a manly contest, and it's against this guy that I'm going to fight. And it's like one of the things is picking up on a guy. And I'm like, you guys are making fun of me. Like, I know what's going on here. But they're like, yeah, so can you make it? We'll pay for your airfare. And I go, wait, you want me to go to New York for this show? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, and then I asked my wife, and I'm like, should I go? And then I call my co-host Tully, and I go, hey, do you think it's worth it for the Jason Ellis show if I go on this show in New York? And he's like, man, I don't really feel like that show's that big. And then I'm like adding up the flights and how a lot of people don't even get the correct flight anymore. Like, you could just be gone for 2 days. The airlines can.
It was up to them to book it.
Yeah, I was like, this is a 1 hour podcast that has 40,000 followers. Like, but I was like, and to top it off, I feel like there was a 15% like Ellis is a homo kind of thing gonna happen. It's like, let's all East Coast laugh at him behind his back. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty good with that stuff. And I was still like, oh man, I don't think I can make it because I just want. I'm like, opportunity. That's an opportunity,
right? But
that's one more listener.
But you're in the same boat. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, trip to New York podcast. Yep. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, no question.
Yes, but that's why if I was on SiriusXM, I would have started laughing at that email before I got halfway through reading it. Come to New York.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, yeah, right. But this time I'm like, you need subscribers. You might get 10. And I'm like, 10 for 48 hours.
yeah.
And then I'm thinking about hotels, and Katie ain't coming. So it's me by myself. I'm like, yeah, I know how I am in a hotel room by myself. Like, let's maybe pass on that.
I know how I am.
What?
I like how it's like you're talking about someone else. Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Because
that guy's a problem.
Dude, I got a voice in here, right? and I've got him under control. But when I get dark or I get alone or I get tired, he's louder.
Right.
I'm older enough to be like, shut up. No, I'm not going to do that. But it's there. It's always there. And if it's like 48 hours by myself, like sit in a room, I'm not going to call those guys and be like, hey, like, show me the time. I don't do that. Yeah. I'll just sit in there until I'm like, boy, do something bad.
That's such a good summary. I'm bored. Do something bad.
It'll kill the. It'll kill the time.
It'll kill the
bad. Man,
that was a really good analogy.
It's like this too. Because something bad, I can get it on this thing.
Right.
So I go, something bad. Yeah, who wants to do bad stuff?
Let's put the word out.
Yeah, because
fly the flagpole.
It's the unfortunate thing. My phone knows tons of bad people that are like, hell yeah, come over right now. Let's get bad.
Wow.
All cities too, so there's no escape.
Oh yeah, in every area code.
Apps, man, I can't.
Apps.
They come after me when I'm alone.
Oh right, they're apps. They're not. I was thinking like contacts. No, just apps.
Yeah, no. I mean, my contacts are in my apps,
Right.
but there's other apps that. This is not the show for it.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that glimpse into your private life.
Most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, I go, come on, man.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like you're completely alone. There's nothing to do. I'll call my wife and be like, hey, thinking about bad stuff. She's like, go on. What else are you going to do?
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, I'll see you later.
Wow. So she's an enabler.
Yep. Yeah.
She's not. She's awesome.
Not okay. My bad stuff is not that
I know.
bad. I feel like
I
I'm
know.
making it out.
I
Like,
know.
I don't do. Yeah. I'm
Yes,
not
I
like,
get
where's
it.
the heroin? I don't-
Yeah.
Not a drug taker or anything. Yeah.
I got a list of shows to potentially do to promote this show.
Oh, wow. You got the names. This is going to hurt me.
Okay, but that doesn't
go
mean
ahead.
that. Hold on. It doesn't mean that I've been requested for those shows. It means that are you interested in these shows?
Which means they'll have you.
I don't think so.
Oh, they're big names by the way you're talking. This is so exciting. This is just watch my face right now. This is going to be so. Are you going to get experienced?
What's that?
Are you going to get experienced?
What?
Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan?
Did they mention it?
No.
Ah.
But I did a show.
Ah.
You saw him. You know I did a show.
Yeah. I don't watch it.
I was one of the last ones to do a show before he went to Spotify and moved
okay.
to Texas.
Okay. Was it good?
Yeah, it was fun.
Did you have fun? Okay, good.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay, so
It was cool because he really doesn't know much about skating, but he was genuinely interested in it.
he's an athlete. He respects. He's not like
Right.
Stone. He does sport.
Yeah.
He loves.
Yeah, but just he doesn't really understand he didn't know about the philosophy or the competitions and stuff. So yeah, it was good. I can't. There's like Mark Maron. They're asking me about. They asked me
you
about.
would follow. You like him, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've
He
listened
seems
to
like your
his show
kinda-
and he's got like a lot of same musical alignment too. So
That's what it is.
that'd be pretty fun. I
Yeah.
can't remember all the other ones though. There was
It's got to
What's
be Logan Paul for sure, right?
I didn't see him on there.
Impulsive, it's called.
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Yeah. Show me.
I should.
You
If I
do
brought this up, I should have known.
You should do
when it was.
Impulsive. He's got a really good show. He's got a big show. And it's kind of, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be too lit for me,
Mhm.
but they're pretty cool. What else?
Um,
Did Dax ask you? Armchair,
no,
it's called?
see, I don't think so.
Huh.
I have to look. I should have been more prepared. I have to be more prepared for this show.
Yeah, I mean,
You and I
I'm
just
not-
decided to
I
do
ain't
this
trying to-
show like 3 hours ago.
I ain't trying to push you. Yeah. No, dude,
I need to have the materials in order.
I trained so hard yesterday and I was like looking at the phone and we're dealing with the videos and that's its own thing where I'm like, oh, I just wish everybody sounded way more on it than you do. It's a little troubling to me. I'm like, come on, man, why isn't someone showing me something where I go, whoa, you know way more than I do. I'm like, man, I feel like it's like when you ever gone to a therapist who you know you're smarter than, and you like, that's
But
it. I'm not dealing with.
Are
this.
you talking about? You're talking about the lead up to our first show launching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a bit of a bum rush and a bit of a cluster and a bit of a they don't seem really sure what is happening. And
it was tricky because our first show required more editing and more finesse, and it was
short notice.
the
as
most
fuck.
rushed. Yeah.
Right.
So I understand. And I think a lot of people saw it and they were like, why didn't I get a warning that the footage was coming? And it was like, because we set our date to release it and everything, we were just like, it was a super train heading towards that. Like, oh my God, we got to get all this and collect the footage. Like I had to find all the filmers that filmed everything, get their permission, which I didn't exactly get, but
okay.
I mean,
I'm sure they'll be pumped.
they gave it to me. They knew
Right,
what we
right.
were doing, but we have nothing in writing, and also just getting Lizzie's blessing that it's okay that is now out there,
Right.
because that's heavy, and I don't take it lightly, and she was okay with it, and we did it, and
yeah, it was a big deal to me. I didn't even know that it happened. I heard a bit about it, but I didn't really care until I saw the footage. If I had known from the start when I saw the footage, that would have changed everything, because I didn't know how serious of a slam. Like, not so much even the injury. It's more about if you're that in the game of skateboarding and you know about it, and that you go that wrong on that ramp. She knew when she was in the air that she was completely fucked. Like, that is it's like jumping off a boat and on your way down you see a shark. It's the same thing. You're like, you got to be joking me,
right?
Like, I'm gonna what, and I'm not talking about landing next to one. I'm saying you're falling and it's like and you're falling towards its mouth. Like, I'm definitely gonna die. That's what that slam is like for her brain to handle.
There was a guy up on the landing part of the jump that was shooting a sequence, and he just saw the podcast and sent me the photos. He's like, "Hey, no one has seen these. I haven't shared them.
Oh, wow.
But here's a photo sequence," because it's not like he wants me to put it out there.
I know,
but he's just like, it's out there now. You should see this stuff.
Yeah.
And the photos are heavy. He clearly stopped. He clearly took his finger off the shutter
when she hit.
Yeah.
Right. Because now you're in shock. Everybody was in shock. I saw the video footage of a guy on the other side and his voice when she hit.
Yeah.
Like him running back down the ramp to go around. And he's like, I just watched somebody die.
Yep. Yeah, it was awful. Anyway.
It's a crazy game.
She skated last weekend, so thankful.
All good. Everything works. Legs, everything.
I think she's still recovering, but she's getting there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, of course.
Holy bolts through my hip.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, crazy. So we just saw the Dew Tour is the final Olympic qualifier.
Oh, and when it comes to qualifying in the Olympics in the Dew Tour, do you have to win or do you have to just beat whoever's?
It's very murky with how that works, and also
is there
because
a voting thing?
It's not voting. It's just that they had a system in place, and a bunch of events got canceled for all kinds of different reasons. So it was almost like the whole thing was cursed. Like one event, the fires in Australia canceled it.
Okay.
Right. Then another event just rained endlessly in Brazil. Another event in Chile, they built the park the week before the event, and whatever the material they made started to disintegrate because it was raining right after they built it. Like almost like castles of sand.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, we built these ramps. Oh, they're falling apart. Never mind.
Contest is over. Then
COVID hit. I mean, it was just like one thing after the other, one thing after the other. So finally they got this event in Des Moines, and so much was riding on it. But the only points they could go off of were the points from 2 years prior when the last real event happened.
Okay.
So there are all these names that, like, some people, I mean, even Shaun White was in the running back then.
But not
he
now.
hasn't been
But
skating.
he's still in the running because they're basing it off.
Because they're going off these 2 years ago. So it was all just really confusing. And
is he skating still? Like competitively?
No.
Okay.
No, he tried to qualify for the Olympics. He went to, they had an event in Marseille. He went to Marseille and didn't do very well. And then they had one in, I believe in Sao Paulo or in Rio. That was the one that was just raining all the time.
Yeah.
They were having qualifying at like 2 a.m.
Why?
It was a shit show because
of the rain,
and because it was just everyone from all over the world was coming there to qualify
for the Olympics.
Yeah, so it was just nuts. And I don't think he qualified there, so he was out of the running. But going into this one, his name was still in the mix because we haven't had any more events. So I'm just saying that. I'm just talking about that because of how chaotic it was, and so they finally had this one, and there was a lot riding on it, and then, like Tom Shar, who is insane, is like the only one doing truly
new things,
technical vert tricks in the park event.
Yep.
He's not on the team.
Why?
Because of how the results laid up, and because it was those results weighed for so much.
He can't be in the Olympics.
He won't be. I'm pretty sure that's what I got, is that he won't be representing the U.S. I think maybe Corey Juno.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't?
No.
He rips.
man.
But
Embarrassing.
he hasn't had a stellar, like his rankings weren't great.
Okay.
But because he did so well this one, he's in.
And Tom didn't.
Tom didn't make it. Yeah,
He fell off.
he fell 3 of his runs and he made his last run, but they didn't think it was.
I watched the park the other day, and I got to tell you, man,
It's hart to see.
as a vert guy, I'm like,
it's hard as a vert guy. Now.
I'm like, what are you guys
hard to see.
doing? Fucking bonelesses on the bank ramp. I'm like, you get points for that?
I call that the boneless bank.
Because everybody does one on there.
I know. It's always the
I'm
boneless
like,
bank.
I did bonelesses
Yeah.
on that bank when I was that was like one of my first moves that I could
I gotta
blast.
say, the finals are pretty exciting because you saw a lot of vert tricks busted out.
Yeah.
A couple guys did ollie fives.
Okay.
Which-
Okay.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
something, right?
Yep.
Zion,
Such a hater.
Zion who won, he over the gap thing. You saw it in the middle. They
He
had the
did
gap thing.
Indy 5, right?
You saw that.
Yeah.
Double grab.
It was double grab.
He grabbed the nose, then grabbed it Indy, which is pretty sick.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I'm saying.
I do. It's hard to do. I hate double grab.
No,
I saw him skate. He's fucking gnarly. But
Oh
I
yeah,
also
no, his run was
thought,
insane. Yeah.
yeah, Rune was in it. And I'm like, Rune looks pretty good too. And I'm like, Rune's old as hell and not.
It's awesome.
I'm just saying, it seems like it's an odd, maybe it is the vert thing where someone does a vert trick and then I go, man, like that's not that hard, man. You're doing like 1986 vert tricks in here.
Yeah.
And then you like,
It's funny hearing from your perspective because I have this conversation a lot with people.
and
where-
they don't agree.
Well, it's so exciting, and everyone skates park.
Yeah, I
right?
noticed that.
So everyone skates park. So there's this sort of level of what is really good and what is what stands above everything else,
Yeah.
and what stands above everything else are kind of basic vert tricks.
I was gonna say that's what it
Right?
seems like.
So
All
that's
the bangers.
the hard thing to swallow as a vert skater, where you're like this is I go on this tangent all the time, but like you're not going to see a 720 in the Olympics, which I think is kind of a shame.
You don't think we're gonna see a 720 in the Olympics?
No, everything's like the walls are 9 feet high, 10
Okay.
feet tall. You know,
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not because of the skill level of the skaters, it's because of the terrain.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that like these guys. Tom Schauer did 1080. Like you know,
And you can't
these
get one.
guys
You
are
can't get any of that
capable.
going in the park.
You can't because it's the park setting. So
Right.
I think there's actually there's some sort of limit to how high the walls can be, which is super strange
Why
too.
would it?
I
Why?
don't know. But regardless, like, hey, skateboarding's in the Olympics, foot in the door.
Yeah.
I understand it because parks are more accessible.
Yep.
Right. You know,
I think maybe it's
there's
more
no
fun to
vert
watch
ramp.
too if you're not a skateboarder and it's like, oh look, they're going all around the thing instead of just the half pipe. I don't know, maybe that as well.
I feel like vert would be more of a spectator sport
That's what I thought.
because it's more flying and you don't have to understand it. It's like that guy did a crazy flip.
right,
And his board was spinning around. You know, the park event is much more of a skater's event because you know the intricacies and the difficulty of like for instance, a no comply tail slide.
right,
That's not going to look like anything to the casual viewer,
okay,
but to a skater that's pretty sick to do that on vert, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It just the street part of it seems to be taken out of it, and that seems that I think maybe that's the bit that I have the most respect for, which is weird because I'm a vert guy.
Well,
But
street's in.
I
Street's an event.
I know, but the park, I expect more street things
right.
done in
Yeah.
the park.
Yeah.
And where instead I'm like, is everybody in this contest from Brazil? Because I remember competing with these guys from Brazil, and I was like, you do a kickflip Indy on the street course, don't fucking come talking to me.
Right.
And now I'm like, wait, no, you should do a kickflip Indy on the street course because they
Yeah.
just made a park for it.
Right.
Like kickflip grabs in this park, I could tell that totally okay.
This is pretty cool. So there were a few Brazilians. I'm bringing this up because you talked about Brazil.
Yes.
There were a few Brazilians, including Pedro Barros,
Okay.
who is probably one of the best park skaters ever and
Okay.
crazy vert skater. You know who Pedro Barros is, right? You don't? He's super. He's the guy that jumped in the combi bowl. He's the guy that jumped from one bowl to the other.
I do. Okay, I saw that guy.
That's Pedro.
Oh, okay.
Right. Dude's super gnarly.
Yeah.
He and 2 other Brazilians were in the finals, and Tom Schauer was on the cut, like on the bubble of
Yeah.
making, and he wasn't going to make it. And that was his last chance to make the team for the Olympics. Those 3 Brazilian guys are already on Team Brazil. They're in the Olympics.
No matter what.
No matter what. So they all 3 threw their runs.
So that Tom would make
So
it.
that Tom would be in the finals.
Fucking skateboard.
Pretty cool, right?
That's what's up.
Yeah. So
That's
they
what's
just goofed around in their run.
That's
and then
so good.
Tom was in the finals. That was pretty cool.
That's
That's definitely skateboarding right there. In a nutshell. That's
love
the
that.
Olympic qualifier.
I love
No
that.
other sport is going
Right?
to do that.
They
There's
would
just
fucking
no,
bump their asses.
There's no
they
way.
Would for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Not even thinking
That
about
was
the medal
pretty
down
cool.
the road. They're like,
Right.
he is awesome. Get him in on behalf
Right.
of all of us.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great. All 3 of them agreed to do that. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get to see it live, but my wife told me she watched it. So it was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
you don't usually hear that.
A girl did make twists too in the event. It's pretty sick.
Oh, I think I saw
Yeah.
it. Good one too.
Good one. Yeah.
Not very good at doing airs, but doing McTwists.
Just got the snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember, man, it's so funny when I don't know who anyone is.
Yeah.
Just, social media shows me things and I go, dang, is that a girl? I'm like, that is a fucking upside down 540.
Yeah.
And then I went down a rabbit hole and I'm watching it. And I'm like, you could barely do a backside air. And then you just go and whip. And it looked like she was built to do that trick.
Yeah, I think it's more just her size too. Like when she gets, when she grows more, she's going to be blasting for sure.
Right.
You,
Yeah.
you see it now because you can see that they've got the speed, they've got the they've got the technique, they've got the. It's just a matter of it. Like I don't know if you saw Gavin Bodiger. Gavin Bodiger was he used to be this little guy, and he's still he's smaller compared to everyone else, but he had all the tricks. He just didn't have the strength to get the height.
And now he does.
Now he's kind of there. So he was in the top 3 or 4. He killed it.
When you were first pro, weren't you a little person too?
Yeah.
Like how old were you before you turned pro? Like when you were amateur skating against Caballero and stuff. Is that correct?
I was competing against those guys by 14.
Okay. So does that mean
But
you weren't
I was
sponsored at
pretty
14?
small. What's that?
were you sponsored at 14?
That's when I turned pro.
Oh, okay. So you'd been competing.
I've been competing, but Cab and those guys were already pro.
So when did you start skateboarding? How old were you?
10.
Okay. So in 4 years you turned pro
Right.
and you were.
But I was super small. So like the first contest I went to was at Whittier, and Whittier was a bigger bowl.
Is that where Dave Andrak used to rule?
Dave Andrak is Big O.
Oh,
Or Oasis.
Okay. I remember that. Did he hold air channel?
Yeah.
Is there a big channel?
Yep. Oasis.
Right. And he
Yep.
could do big fronts it is and
Yep.
method is.
Yep.
The first person to do
First
that.
person to truly blast an air, yes,
Right.
was Dave Andrak.
When I was sponsored by Airwalk, I think, and he was the team manager, and he had a photo of in his office. He had a big framed picture of him doing an Andract, and then I
sick.
got some ad doing one, and we had like a big bonding experience about
Andrax?
how it's not a bad one of the trick that I invented. And I was like, I actually fucking
That's pretty sick.
I like this conversation, like, because I respected. I'm like to be around where like I'm doing an Andract and he's fucking Dave Andrak.
Yeah.
Because those days are gone. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
whoever invented the 180 and named it after their name,
Yeah.
those are gone. You can't have those
Right.
anymore. And he's still there, like, oh, you're like that one. I was like, yeah. And he's
Yeah.
like, that's a nice one. I'm like, getting a stamp of approval from Dave Andract on your Andract, pretty good.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good dude.
I
Funny
forgot what I
guy.
was saying.
So, yes, talking about the old park. You're a little boy.
Oh,
14.
so I was, and so I could do these tricks, but I just didn't have the height.
All right. You couldn't get the pump because you
Couldn't
didn't
get the
have
pump.
enough
Yeah.
leg.
So I had to have like a perfect landing to get another air that was just equal to the first one I did.
All right.
So I was basically just judged by my tricks, and I had tricks, but I just didn't have the height. And so about a year and a half later, I finally started getting tall.
And that's when you got power?
Like 2 years later.
Okay.
And then I had a bunch of more tricks, but I could do them higher.
All right.
And that's kind of when I started doing really well.
And is that Del Mar? Is that your home skate park?
Del Mar was, yeah.
So all those other parks, because to me, I felt like in vert skating, vert ramps are pretty similar. But back in your pool days,
No, you had
every
to
pool
work
was
for
like
it. Yeah.
nowhere near the same. It was like
No,
different shape,
not at all.
different. It could not even be the
So
same
when
thing.
there would be a contest, well, all the parks started drying up. But when there would be a contest like Upland was coming up, I would make it a point to go up there every weekend before the contest just to practice because Upland was super gnarly.
Right. It had 4 foot of vert, didn't it?
It seemed like it. Yeah.
I never got to go. I only heard about the stories of like Lester Kasai trying to do a Japan Air as high as he could possibly go in the corner, and he whipped out and was walking around the contest with one whole side of his body bandaged from just wiping himself out.
Yes.
So I hear this, you know what I mean? Like somebody's telling me that he's like, that bowl is not what you think. Like you think you're going to go there and do what you're doing on this vert ramp over here?
No,
you're not. And like, try to understand this while I show you like Lester Kasai just charging or Chris Miller backs it around the corner where it's like, you're going to lock. And he's like, I don't know if I really care. And I'm like, oh, that was Delmar. Sorry.
No,
Chris
locked up.
I get them confused because Delmar, he did an overturn back today where he should have died and he made it and his toe came off. And I was like, greatest backseat ever done in my opinion. And then the one in Upland around the corner where I was like, anybody who commits to that.
I went around the corner in Upland. So it's a real tight corner and tons of vert, right?
Yeah.
I went around the corner. I didn't pull off enough. I got my foot caught. My body was still in, but my board and my foot was over. So I got my foot caught on the coping and then into a backflip to the flat. And I was out. Like that was during a contest and I couldn't walk. I mean, I was probably I was probably 15 or something, 15 or 16.
Yeah.
And
that is such a
just on my own and just like, I don't know if I broke my hip or what, but I didn't go to the hospital. Yeah. So the whole weekend, I just scooted around on my butt, on my board, because I wanted to watch the event.
Who's with you? Parents?
My dad came the day of the event because he was helping Norris. He didn't see me slam. No. But I remember vividly because like
that's a slam.
I know I wanted to watch the event and I was just like, I can't skate, but I want to be here. So I ended up staying at someone's skater's house and staying there and then like just carting myself around like my own little wheelchair.
It's such a weird addiction that is not bad for you, but not bad for you at all. Like I could see how somebody's even rational brain would go, I've got to stop this kid. This is ridiculous. Like he's really hurt and now he's like he won't even go to the hospital to get a wheelchair. He's just using a skateboard to roll around on his ass to be at the contest. Like you're like, if I go to the hospital, that's like an hour, maybe 2 hours of not being here. And I can't even add that up. I have to just stay here.
Yeah.
Like your addiction to it, but the character that it builds. A 14-year-old, people that don't know this bowl's gone, but it is like, it's like I grabbed your kid, he was 14, and I fucking grabbed him by an ankle and a wrist, and I span as hard as I could, and then and right when I got the maximum speed, I threw him in the air high, and then he landed on a what's the kids' playground thing, the metal playground that you play on, like the swing bars. He lands
monkey
on the
bars.
Yeah, he lands on the monkey bars and goes boom, ding, dong, dong, bing, bong, on the ground. And then I leave.
Wow.
I get in the car and I leave, and I let him sort that out by himself. And instead of him like asking for a parent to take him to hospital, he goes, "Man, I need to stay here. I love the monkey bars so much that I'm staying here, and I can't use them right now because I shredded myself on the monkey bars, but I'm just going to wait until it heals and so I can play with it because I love it that much."
Yeah.
Like it just shows, I know things are not that bad for you, but if they ever were, you're not one to stop. Like you'll never be stopped. And I feel like you don't come across that way. Like I even get sometimes a little like where you're like, you just fucking go for it. And I'm like, this is fucking dangerous advice, dude. Like, and then I forget that, yeah, it's dangerous advice. You're a fucking maniac. People take that for granted. Like you got to be
It's
crazy.
a fine line though. It's hard because especially having kids when you want to encourage them, but you don't want to be the cause of them pushing themselves too hard. And so that's a fine line. I'm still working through it.
I was going to say, how do you talk with your kids want to do skateboard tricks or they don't want to do them? Do you ever voice an opinion?
I have stopped them
from doing dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause you're not ready for that yet.
Okay.
And I got to make you stop because it's not going to go well. I mean, I don't know if you see my son Keegan try to loop.
What?
Dude, it was so, one of the times we put the loop out here.
Keegan doesn't skateboard all the time, does he?
He's good now, but then he wasn't really. Here's how, like, my son Keegan, he was one of the wildest in terms of what he wanted to do and what he was capable of. He didn't want to go through the process of learning anything. He just wanted to try it.
Yeah.
Right. So like when he was 9 or 10, he dropped in on vert. He didn't know how to pump, but he dropped in on vert.
And he made it.
Well, he made it, and then he just fell onto the next wall. Like, he just, went up the next wall and didn't know what to do. So that's kind of how
terrified.
That was his process of just going for stuff. And we put the loop up, and we had the pads and everything in there, right? So when he said, I want to try it, I was like, well, you could try to go and jump into the pads. But what he would do is he would go up and get almost upside down and then eject.
So he would eject to the ground.
Well, he almost missed the pads twice. And I was like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. I'm sorry. And because he was going to keep going and he wasn't.
Man, I was going to talk to you about the other side of it where he doesn't want to do the loop and you think that he's good enough to do the loop. My kids don't do
that. That was my approach with Lizzie, because Lizzie was not really that interested, but I knew she could.
Right.
Because I've seen how people do it. I've seen who can do it and what it takes. And I just told her, I go, I really think you're capable of it. If you want to do it, I'll help you.
Right.
But it's far from, come on, let's go. You got to do it.
Which you don't do that with your kids, right? No.
I mean, unless they really want to learn something and I know they're capable of it, but they're just like,
See, one time I rode moto with Steve Caballero, a legendary skateboarder who has kids, and he was telling me once that, one of his kids is, sometimes you just need to tell him to go for it. And I was like, I felt like saying, well, why would you be so mean? Like, if he doesn't want to go for it, then just let him not go for it.
Hey, it's like I said, it's a fine line from being encouraging or being pushy.
Right.
And it's hard. But you have to ultimately let them figure it out.
Okay, I totally agree to that. I've had the opposite experience when it comes to, I feel like maybe they've seen what I've done and have no interest in it because it's terrifying to them because they're not crazy. And to me, I say it to my ex-wife all the time. It's like, when Forrest Gump finds out that he's a dad and the first thing he says is he dumb?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's how I am with my kids. I'm like, but do they have the stupid like I do?
Oh my God.
I'm like, it might work out for you. It worked out for me, but I don't want to witness the whole ride. Oh my God. Like I just did so many things where everybody should have stopped me. Like I think I had at one point I was doing stuff where I had a dude named Ben Schroeder who was really crazy once tell me, hey, get down from there. Because I was on Mission Beach and somebody gave me a rope that was tied to a light and I was going to swing out across the boardwalk onto the beach from a 3-stair balcony. And there was a huge party going, do it. And I was like, yeah, all right. And I'm up there with the rope and Ben's, Jason. And I'm like, hey, Ben. He's like, get the fuck that.
That's like Ozzy Osbourne telling you not to do something.
Yeah. And I was like, man. Ben usually says go for it. And I was like, okay.
And goes for it himself.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I got down and boo. And I'm like, Ben told me to get down.
Good move. Yeah.
But if he's telling you to stop doing things.
Well, I have raised and helped to raise many children and they're all different. That's what I'm telling you.
Right.
I know you have two.
Yeah.
And you have obviously a boy and a girl, so you have a different experience, but mine are all different. They all have their own sense of limitations or not.
Right.
Or a sense of mortality or not.
Right.
And you've got to, each one is a special circumstance you've got to figure out.
Right.
The same playbook does not work for all of them.
Not at all. Yeah, because my two could not be further away from each other when it comes to what they're going to do.
That's my parenting advice to everyone. It's definitely a lot of nurture and nature.
Well, I'm counting my blessings right now because to tell my daughter or my son, no, don't go down the loop anymore. I so don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My
was a
son would be
scary
like,
day.
I'm not going down there.
Yeah.
I'd kill myself.
I know. That
I
was
love
a scary
that.
day.
Oh,
Keegan, he dropped in on the Mega-ramp quarter pipe when he was like 11 or 12.
dude.
He was this big.
It's just giving me anxiety.
He was this big.
What are you doing? What do you say when he goes? You go like, yeah, you got this?
I wasn't there.
Oh,
He
who
showed
let
me
him
the
go?
video. No, he was at skate camp. He was at Woodward.
Oh, Woodward.
He was at Woodward, and
Yes.
they're like, "Woo, Keegan's got it!" You know, because they're all like rolling down the roll in and trying to kick turn and stuff. And then he went up to the top, and everyone's just like, "Oh, yeah, Keegan!"
Because
And
his
just
last name's Hawk
Free
too.
fall. Woo!
He made it.
He made it.
He got skills, man. I give him that because some of those stories should usually turn out another way. That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's been fun to see them all. I mean, they're all adults now, so it's been fun to see them all come into their own.
Yeah.
And really learn their strengths. And they're all of them are good skaters in their own way.
Right.
You know, they
That's
all got their
awesome.
own thing,
I
but they
love
all
that.
got it. So it's been really fun to see them thrive like that. Where in those early days, it was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better because I'm in the, I don't know what they're
They'll get
going to
it.
be.
They'll get it.
Good show. Good times.
Good times.
We're
Thanks.
probably huge by now. We just don't know
Are
it
we?
yet. Yeah, I can tell.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 5-star reviews and all that stuff. Those count. And YouTube, that counts. All that stuff counts. We'll be back next
Everything
week.
counts in large amounts. There you go.
That was smooth.
See ya.
See ya.